Nobody tells you how lonely self-discipline actually is when you're in that in-between phase between not being where you were and not being where you want to be, but that little gap where you're working towards a different phase. It is tough and isolating and is emotional and can be very draining, and I wanted to just talk about that today. It's the part where you're doing the work, you're pushing yourself to do things that are difficult, you're saying no to things that you normally want to do for fun so you can have more time to be focused and disciplined and prioritize things that are important to you. But it feels like you're putting your all into, moving forward, but you don't have a lot of time and space for rest and relaxation, and it can be relentless and feel almost endless in a way. And the worst thing is maybe feeling like no one has really noticed yet. You haven't had the fruit of your labor, and even you are not seeing results. Even though you are working, maybe you're seeing tiny results, you're not where you'd love to be, and that can be hard because you feel like you're not getting anything for it and no one is aware of what you're doing either. Everyone talks about success and glow ups, but no one talks about the middle part and how that feels. And the middle is quiet. There's a lot of silence, there's a lot of time alone, there's a lot of self-reflection, there's a lot of to-do lists and waking up early and sleeping late and working on your lunch break and all these things that go into trying to push yourself. And it can feel like you're spending a lot of time doing things that maybe you want to do, but you'd rather be in bed watching Netflix or seeing your friends or going to the pub or not going to the gym. And the bits in between where you have to motivate yourself to get up and do those things can be very tough and very isolating. And it's difficult if your friends around, you don't understand why you're suddenly different and you've changed. You're not going to things anymore, you're not making plans, or you're not sociable, you're not as available, and it starts to cost you time, energy, and relationships, which is the hard part, I think, losing out on things that you love and know are important, but you have to prioritize something else instead of those things. And you say to yourself, trust the process, discipline leads to results. But even though you're saying that, sometimes it's hard to believe it and sometimes you don't believe it. Sometimes it's hard to have resilience and actually keep yourself going. And you're trying to keep yourself motivated, but it's very difficult when there's no applause, there's no one saying well done, or another day you got up and gone to the gym, or another day you filmed a video. I mean, I'm filming now at 7:30 p.m. I want to have a nap, but I've got to do this so I can stick to my rules and accountability I made for myself, which is posting twice a week. So here I am, sat down recording. But it's hard doing those things when it's on your own and in silence, and you're picturing and visualizing that one day this will pay off and I'll be here, but currently you're sat in the beginning or the middle and you're not there yet, and so it's hard to really find that energy. But here's what I've learned about this in-between phase, this middle journey, is that it's part of life, it's a necessary cycle, and it's not wasted time, it's just silent time, and it's the time you have to put in, the work you put in behind the scenes. All the people that you look up to and admire and are inspired by are people that have gone through this middle phase, and people do talk about it. If you look, you can find people talking about how hard it was to keep going when nothing was happening, but then you get to a point where something happens. And so I think I keep reminding myself as much as I can that it's not wasted, it's just difficult. And difficult doesn't mean bad, it just means that I'm working hard at something. And they say diamonds are formed under pressure, and so hopefully this pressure and stress and energy will form something beautiful in the end. There's power in knowing that in this bit where you're, in your cocoon and you're, a caterpillar, and your shell is kind of hardening and you're crystallizing and you're working hard and going through this middle phase, isn't the phase where you're supposed to be seen. You'll be seen and recognized and be a beautiful butterfly when you have transformed and are finally into the next stage where things are ready for you to come into that full form of yourself. But you have to put in the work and the time and wait and allow yourself to regrow and regenerate in a way and have your metamorphosis as such. So it is necessary and it is just part of life. So if you're sad, alone, feel tired, demotivated, and feel like no one understands or recognizes what you're doing, you are supposed to be here. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. This is actually exactly what you need to be doing. You know it, I know it, we know it because we decided to put ourselves in this phase. And we know the reasons that we did it. It's just remembering that and using that to pull you through the phases where you're feeling tired and discouraged. So don't give up. You set yourself a task and a plan and you can do it. You just got to keep going. I think the most important thing is this in between, this change, this period is where you stop being who you were and start becoming who you're supposed to be.